Well, considering I get asked so often, let's go ahead and review one more time what multiband frequency separation is. Now, we have videos on this, and of course, we have videos on regular frequency separation, and naturally, you can find videos on frequency separation all over the internet. Now, we have the FreqSep MB. This is what I created, and that's a multi-band. That's why I call it MB. And people have said, looks really sick, looks really cool and technical, but what can I do with it really? I'm going to show you one example of what you can do with it, even with a simple 2-band. All right, so let me double click and just kind of see what's going on here with the pixels. Let's say we want to work on her arm, her face, her neck, and maybe some things around her hair, and we want to do some painting of pixels in between different frequencies, right? So we have the default ones, which is the NBP FreqSep 2-band 16, 3, 7, 5, and 7, excuse me. But we have the manual ones. And honestly, if you start getting used to the concept, you'll probably use the manual ones more. In fact, I'm going to show you right now what happens. Let's say you set up 2-band and you think, well, okay, 2-band manual, what does that mean? Well, let's say I want a tight texture. You know, I want one of the separations to be tighter so I can preserve just the tightest of textures. I'm going to put like a 3, right? And then the next one I want a little bit broader in case I want to preserve broader texture for different reasons. And of course, these will be layered. They'll be perfectly separated into different frequency bands. So when that's done, you'll have what looks like frequency separation, except you have one low and you have 2 highs. Okay. If you hold down Alt or Option and click the little eyeball next to one of the highs, you'll see what it looks like. And at a glance, you can tell that, okay, that's fairly tight texture. Remember that 3 radius on median? And if you go to this one here, you can see that's a broader texture. That's 16. That's very broad. Okay. Now, immediately what that means is that let's say you come here to this layer in between, you know, the blank layer, and you choose 4 or 5% flow, and you want to paint in, let's say on her face, you want to kind of paint in the little blush right here, and just keep painting and keep sampling and paint a little bit more to smooth out a little more texture on her face or something like that. And you've gone from there to there. Cool. Now you think, well, I want to paint on her neck too, but I don't want it that tight. Well, if you get used to the workflow and you come down here now and then paint, sample and paint, now you're working on her neck at 16. And that might not be the exact number you need. I don't know. But you can experiment, play around, do some testing on several of your images and see what happens when you preserve texture at 15 or 16 or 12 or 7 or 2. And then maybe you'll have a cool idea of what you can do. Now, because these are layered, keep in mind too, that if I were to paint here with a broad texture, right, it's covered by the one above it, right? Because I painted there already. So you have to consider that and how you're going to work. And sometimes blending them could be cool. I don't know. But as you can see, I painted with a broader texture down here on her neck to preserve much more broad texture. See that? All right. But I also preserved tight texture on her face because I felt like I wanted that flexibility while I'm working. Now you can prove how it's working in general, because if you take that painted area I just did here on layer T2 of the neck, if I move it up, you see how it gets really tight? The texture got really tight, up, down, right? And if I take this texture on her face and bring it down, it gets broader, right? Now that option right there of being able to, for example, let's say we run a 7-band manual. It's going to take a second. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to do a 1. Let's do a 3, a 6. Let's do a 9. Again, this takes a minute because the different blurring operators that have to be used, okay? So give me a second here. Let's do a 16. Let that finish processing. Okay, and now we move the surface blur because it's a lot bigger. We're going to leave it on 32. I think that works. Okay, now, so once it's all set up, you have the 7-band. Oh, I forgot we had one more because this is 7-band. You notice that we do have the 9, 11, and 13 band. That starts getting not very useful, if I'm honest. That's why I have those emojis next to it. They're just there for fun because in theory, you can do this with just about any number of bands. But let's go ahead and let that finish. Now it's done. The image, of course, is still seamless. But let's say you're not sure what you want. So you come here to the neck and you're on, let's say the highest one, the tightest one, and you start painting and you're reshaping some of these transitions and everything is feeling pretty good. And you're like, honestly, it's nice, but it's a little strong. You can shop it downward to a broader texture, broader texture, broader texture, and you can keep shopping it downward to see what it looks like in the different broad textures to see if it works. And if you start in a broad texture, you can shop it upward. So let's say you come here and you go to like here, and you're working on the face, you're trying to blend some of these transitions, and you're blending and you're blending, and you think that's kind of cool. Keep in mind, I'm doing this very badly, guys. Okay, I'm not trying to do a perfect example right now. So there it is. It's kind of broad, and you're like, well, yeah, but no, I'm going to shop it upward and get tighter texture, tighter texture, tighter, tighter, tighter. Because there's a difference between using a broader texture and then using a tighter texture at less opacity. Sometimes that can be very useful. And you can make new layers. You don't have to use these initial layers. You can make more blank layers in between all these highs. So those are some thoughts there. Running the manual one on 2-band alone like I said, can be very useful. Maybe 3 and 16 was too much. Maybe you do 5, I don't know, 5 and let's say 12 maybe. Let's try 12, right? And that's just going to give you a little bit of flexibility to have 2 bands of frequency separation when you're like painting in between them. It's a little trickier when you're trying to heal on 2 different bands like that, because there could be the same data on both bands when you're doing like hard line high frequency heals. But at least you know that you can sit here, like I said, let's paint that cheek again at the 5 radius, right? Something like this, whatever. And then if we need to move it down and make it broader, we can. Look at that subtle difference. Depending on how you go about testing and how you determine what your images are, I should say, you might determine that you have an idea of what radii work for you. And you might find that the 2-band one, which is honestly super useful in and of itself, could be exactly what you need. And occasionally 3-band is good. Now in a portrait like this, there's also all kinds of other textures happening. I have the shoes, which might have a different frequency that I could be using. The floor, you know, if I want to do some stuff on the floor, I don't know. Obviously these tights have an interesting texture. When there's multiple textures to worry about, having multiband frequency separation can be very useful. But the first time you use it, you have to start practicing. You have to start figuring out what these radii do for you and how you might be able to leverage 2 at a time, 3 at a time, okay? It can be hugely useful in environmental pictures when you have different textures of concrete. And I don't know, it could be clouds, it could be snow, it could be sand. It could be a great way to make, at least, if nothing else, your workflow a lot more efficient on frequency separation. But you can also be a little more refined at once and blend different ideas and different frequencies together as you're doing corrections and transition smoothing and everything else with multiband frequency separation. It's not to say that your images will be better if you use multiband, but you could have a lot more efficiency and you could have a lot more creative freedom when you use something like multiband frequency separation, which again, like I said, that's one of our products at MVP. We have MVP FreakSep NB Pro, super useful, great augmentation to normal frequency separation. And of course, it's perfectly seamless when you use 16-bit.